since annual components which are variable would also form part of wages as per the definition of wages in the labor codes, how do we factor in such components while calculating monthly PF contributions? I think I have slightly a different view on this. See, they have mentioned, I think the exclusion portion. There are nine components running from class A to class I, right? Which includes bonus payable under Payment of Bonus Act also. That is number one. And it includes the contributions to be made by the employer towards PF or pension fund, that also, right? And that includes any amenities provided by the employer, maybe house accommodation or light or water facilities, whatever. And that includes maybe any amount which are to be payable through a settlement or award, right? These are all certain components which are questionable. Definitely, I don't say no, right? But it is not necessary that these components are to be treated as wages. So see, that is the reason I brought that formula. For the purpose of remuneration, we may have to include this. So remuneration is different, wages is different, because when we say annual bonus, it is not a monthly payment. So it is totally in a different footing, right? So HRA, I agree, it is a monthly payment. Overtime allowance, yes, it will be paid monthly. Conveyance, yes, it is paid monthly. But so this is completely annual. Bonus is in a different footing. Similarly, employers' contribution towards provident funds, towards pension fund, it is also in the different footing, right? Like maybe the value of house accommodation or water or light facilities provided, again it is totally in a different footing. So I think there is no confusion. We need not consider these components as wages at all, right? So the question is, my point was, it need not be included under remuneration itself. That was my question, right? And since the proviso says that the sum of components mentioned under class A, from class A to class I, if it goes beyond 50%, right? I am saying that this could mislead the employers, right? So if there is a slight change, amendment, which is mentioned, or some clarification is given by the government or the department concerned, that should definitely help the employers. So maybe to clearly understand and to clearly go ahead with the compliance part, right? So this can mislead. That is what my simple point is. Otherwise, I think annual bonus definitely we need not consider as wages at all. It cannot be. It is not a monthly wage. It is not a monthly payment, right? It is an annual payment, which also depends upon the available surplus and allocable surplus of the company, right? So I think it is slightly different. I don't say the definition does not say that the annual component or specifically the bonus should be necessarily treated as wages. It is not so, right? I am saying that the wordings in the proviso could have been different, so that there will be a better clarity. That is what I am still saying. I move on. So will the other sections of current bonus act also to be taken into consideration for the provisions which are not provided in this code? Yes, I think whatever we discussed during those earlier sessions, we were only highlighting the changes, right? We did not go through the entire provisions of the codes, right? Other provisions, yes, that still remains, right? The eligibility of the person, for a person to become eligible for payment of bonus, yes, that person should have worked at least for 30 days in that accounting year. That still continues, right? Similarly, minimum bonus of 8.33%, that continues. Maximum bonus of 20%, that continues, right? And infancy period for an establishment. So initial 5 years following the year in which the actual business commenced, right? That also continues. All the other things, it continues, right? So only thing is, again, for the eligibility, the salary ceiling is 21,000, right? Then for calculation purpose, it is 7,000 or minimum wages, whichever is higher, right? But that is common currently under Payment of Bonus Act, and that is applicable to all establishments across the country, right? But again, that is getting changed because the powers are given to the appropriate governments to come up with the ceiling. So it can vary from one state to another state. That is the only possibility. Otherwise, I think for the Payment of Bonus Act, other things will remain, right? Again, definition for the term wages, right? At least 50% of the monthly wages, that should be treated as wages. That is, I think, again, that is a major change because of the change in the definition of the term wage, right? So except these 2-3 main changes, other things will continue to remain. And sir, floor wage fixed industries wise or geographical basis? See, this is based on the geography. I think that is one reason why they have defined the term metropolitan and non-metropolitan areas. So floor wage is fixed on geography basis, not on industry basis, right? It is not industry wise, right? Again, when we say floor wage, it will be fixed by the central government, right? And the appropriate governments will continue to fix the minimum wages. The point here is the minimum wages cannot go below the floor wage. That is the idea. And floor wage will be geography based.